program was sponsored by cat bombs. For more information on cat bombs, go to catbombs.gov or call us at 1-800-CAT-BOMBS.
Hey guys, I'm Cheryl and this is Sierra and Courtney. We're going to explain what happened at my most favorite event in human history. Humans blew up other humans.
We didn't blow up other humans, Cheryl. We just dropped a bomb on a city.
Yeah, Cheryl. Might have slept. Anyways, Nagasaki was bombed on August 9th, 1945, exactly at 11:02 a.m., which, oddly enough, is Carson's birthday, which we saw previously. Well, this is the last bombing of World War II.
This bomb was called Fat Man. It was 10,000 pounds or 5 tons that blew up a radius of 22 kilotons. The Japanese surrendered on August 15, 1945 by signing a peace treaty.
Which is my birthday, only 2001. I promise I'm not 72. Or where am I?
Here's the end of when Nagasaki was bombed.
Well, I believe that the reason America bombed Japan was because the United States wanted to prove their power to the world. That they were, of course, as power is, the most powerful.
No. The reason why they bombed Nagasaki is because they knew that Japan was on the verge of surrendering. They also knew that the second atomic bomb would push Emperor Hirohito over the edge. And that's why Leslie Groves had Fat Man made.
Oh no, I heard that American dropped a bomb in Nagasaki because they wanted other nations to know who was more powerful and that they could take down a strong empire. America also wanted to end World War II in some way, so they decided to drop a bomb and see where they would be standing with Japan.
Actually, now that I think about it, all of these are pretty right, guys.
Speaking of Leslie Groves, haha, I mentioned him earlier. Anyway, yeah, you guys probably don't even know who made the big boom.
No, we don't.
Leslie Groves was in charge of the Manhattan Project throughout World War II. He directed the scientists working on nuclear fusion.
How do you know all this? Are you like a genius?
No, I got Kort. I can tell you all about Leslie Groves and his opponent, Emperor Hirohito.
We really don't care.
Well, anyway, Leslie was a soldier's son and spent most of his childhood in outposts around the United States until he enrolled in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and stayed there for 2 years. He then entered the United States Military School after enrolling for the second time. Groves then graduated from the United States Military School at West Point as fourth in his class and was immediately commissioned into the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. About this time, the United States declared war on Germany, and this led to a WEC, or a War Emergency Course, and this was an accelerated introduction into the Army Corps of Engineering. This was in 1912 through 1922. And then in 1922, Leslie Groves married Grace Wilson, and they had 2 children, a son and a daughter. Over the next 14 years, Groves moved his family around the United States from outpost to outpost and spent 5 of those years in Nicaragua working on a bridge project. In September of 1942, Leslie Groves was installed as temporary brigadier general and put in charge of the Manhattan Project. After all these years in the Army, he decided to retire from the Army and got a job at Sperry Rand in Connecticut for 14 years. In 1964, Leslie Groves moved to Washington, D.C. and died 6 years later of a heart attack due to aortic valve complications and was buried in Arlington Cemetery beside his brother. Mitsunomaya Hirohito, on the other hand, was born the son of an emperor. He was raised by a well-trusted family friend and attended school, Togu Gokaku Monsho, specifically for the Crown Prince for 7 years. Thank you. After the man who raised him, Kawamura Sumiyosho, died, Hirohito returned to the palace and his 3 brothers, Takehito, Naruhito, and Yasuhito. In November of 1921, Hirohito took over for his mentally ill father as regent of Japan and then spent 6 months in Western Europe as an educational trip. In 1924, Hirohito married his distant cousin, Princess Nagako Kuni, and they had 2 sons and 5 daughters. Hirohito then took over after his father's death in 1926, but was not publicly crowned until 1928. His rule following his instatement was terrifying at best. In the invasions of China, Hirohito allowed for chemical warfare on 375 different occasions, not supporting it and not stopping it. On September 27th of 1940, Emperor Hirohito signed an alliance with Italy and Germany, completing the Axis powers. I'm sorry, you guys are bored. Contrary to what this might have symbolized, Hirohito was also said to have worried about the implications of preparing first for war and then for peace negotiations, not liking how the Allies might interpret this. On November 5th of 1941, Hirohito gave in to pressure and okayed the attack on Pearl Harbor. Further information on his involvement in World War II is highly debated and uncertain. Then, in September of 1945, after Hiroshima and, of course, Nagasaki, Hirohito declared an unconditional surrender to the Allies and accepted the democratic reforms that were introduced to Japan by the United States. Following World War II, Hirohito remained an influential figure in Japan throughout the rest of his life, even expressing his hobbies through multiple books on marine biology. Hirohito then died on January 7th of 1989 due to cancer, and his son replaced him at the head of Japan.
We interrupt this program to bring you Panda Learning Comments.
This program will continue after this ad. For $5 a day, you can help this little baby panda learn to read this book. Remember, just even calling the number that was previously mentioned before will donate $5 to this baby panda learning to read. Back to your original program. Well, while all that information was said, we do not know how far Nagasaki was from Holmes County. So, from Holmes County, Ohio, which I cannot point because I have terrible direction, is 6,761 miles from Nagasaki, Japan.
3 days later, when Japan was still being rude, the U.S. dropped the second bomb in Nagasaki. It was named Fat Man, hitting Nagasaki at 11:02 a.m., weighing in at a hefty 10,000 pounds or 5 tons. It was built to produce a 22 kiloton blast. The destruction was a 2.6 square miles. Approximately 39,000 people died. The surrounding area slightly protected due to hills that partially contained the blast.
I feel like getting ready to kick him. It's like on pause.
I know, and then
That is over. Emperor Hirohito surrendered to the United States on the 12th of August 1945. He informed his country of this over a radio broadcast on the 15th. The surrender agreement was signed on September 2nd on a U.S. battleship, the Missouri, in Tokyo Bay.
Thank you.
created, edited, and filmed by Carson, Siewwa, Cheryl, and Courtney.
Well, Nagasaki was born on August 9th.
Bombed.
Hirohito remained an influential figure in Japan. And then I had a stroke of genius. E equals MC squared. This is how you get paragraph